In a world where production numbers reign supreme, one man on a mission. Verbal garbage.
What's up, everybody? Another episode of Verbal Garbage coming at you hot and live, doing another Sunday edition. Off the top, I always like doing the likes and dislikes, so let's get right into it. First like from the past week, UFC Fight Night, Santos versus Hill. Not off the top of my head, but there was, I think, 5 or 6 other times in UFC history where every single fight went to a finish. No judges required, no decisions, all finishes. Last night was 10 out of 10. Insane. Jamal Hill, Thiago Santos main event. Santos was, I think, personally getting the better of him for the first 3-4 rounds, and Hill mounted an awesome comeback, got the finish. Terrence McKinney, the first fight of the main card, had a rear naked choke. Co-main event, Jeff Neal and Vicente Luque. Amazing back and forth clash. Luque just continuing to lose brain cells at an absolutely alarming pace. The guy's just so fucking tough and withstood a beating for a while and then finally got dropped and finished, I think, in second or third round. Already a little foggy with that, but yeah, overall, crazy event. Like I said, no judges' decisions, all finishes, which is super rare. Great card. Brian Battle earlier on the prelims had an amazing head kick knockout, so that was pretty insane. And, just speaking of martial arts, it's funny. I just thought of something when Saturday morning I was driving to the open mat jiu-jitsu class that I go to, and, about 2 minutes into the drive, I see a little gecko, we call them, a little like baby lizard or whatever you want to call them. They're all over Florida. And he was just on my windshield, and I'm very upset about this because I'm driving away and I already am so far away. And I'm like, man, here I am. This guy's got his family, his friends. He's probably just going out trying to curate some kibble for the team, the lizard team. And he ended up on my windshield, and we were riding together. Usually I get in the car, I turn the music up right away, and I'm just driving super aggressive, getting to my destination in a quick matter of time. And with little buddy on the window and the windshield and what have you, I was trying to go really slow, make a concerted effort to keep him on board. I had this crazy fantasy in my head that maybe if I go slow enough and then I go to class, I'm pretty efficient, I get my rolls in and be quick, he'll still be on there when I get home, and then I can drive him back home and we can each go back to our natural habitat, get him back to his family, me back home, and everything would work out. But unfortunately, as we were driving down 41 together, came to a point, and I kid you not, he got to the ledge, he was looking over, I guess weighing his options, deciding what his best route to life was going to be. And I don't know if it was the neon sign or the name or what it was, but one of my favorite restaurants, Iguanamia, was coming up on our left, and that's when old buddy decided to jump. So hope he's still out there, hope he survived. But I was very impressed with, when you see these reptiles with some of their sticky feet and how they can kind of suction cup their legs and feet and their arms onto the dash and whatever. And me and the boy made it a long way, and unfortunately he couldn't survive. So second like from the weekend or week, whatever you want to call it, was golf. What's up, guys? You've heard me talk about out-of-body experiences, a little mushroom trip, a little bong pack here and there. Well, luckily for you, you can now experience these legally. Astral Projection and Lucid Dreaming by Vince Field is a book out where you can read and delve more into the world of out-of-body experiences and lucid dreaming. Vince has got 20 years experience of doing these crazy, wild things that I have to take mushrooms or smoke 4,000 bong packs of to experience. Meanwhile, my boy uses his mind and his thoughts to take him to dimensions and planets never seen before in person by humans. Check it out on Amazon if you're interested. It's definitely something I'd enjoyed. Astral Projection and Lucid Dreaming by Vince Field. Check it out now. Finally, after many, many years of saying I want to go do it and try it, my one of my friends texted me that if I wanted to go out on the links on Saturday this week. So I finally said, if I don't commit now, I'm never going to do it. I'll keep making excuses, just like a bunch of other things that I'm guilty of. I'm sure some of you are. You say you want to do something, you don't do it. I went out, me and my friend are playing, we're having a good time. It's just funny because the clubs I was going to use and I ended up using, they were literally clubs that I trash picked in like 2005, 6, somewhere around there, I would guess. And I remember I just saw a big Callaway, Big Bertha, and I was like, oh my God. I always heard about that and had to make it mine. So I trash picked it, never ever used it. And finally got to use it this weekend and take it for a spin. My one friend was gracious enough to give me a couple of his irons and a few drivers that I was able to use in the course. And definitely, definitely a tough game. I was working, not getting frustrated, just having a good time, making contact, trying to work on the technique, put a couple things together. And I don't know. I just figure living in a state like Florida and kind of have to take advantage by doing something like that, golf and fish and doing something. And I've always wanted to try it. And I feel like it's kind of a cool activity to be able to go around and do with some people and have a good time. It's just me and my one friend went, but there was a guy who was playing by himself, and I've always had this huge phobia of going golfing because like I'm so bad, I don't know how to play, and there's going to be people behind me, and then I'm going to be like looking over my shoulder the whole time. Like, am I holding them up? Am I holding them up? So I finally just got over that. But then, well, I say I got over it, but I got over it just mentally about finally going and trying golf. So right away, like my buddy forgot his he's wearing Crocs and he forgot to put his little golf cleat little things on. So he's like, I'm going to go. I was, no, please, like, just stay. So as he's going, another guy pulls up in the cart. I'm like, hey, man, you can go ahead of us. And end up being a solo guy who just moved to Florida, and we ended up playing all 9 holes with him. Pretty cool dude, just making friends, doing the thing, having fun. He was pretty good, getting some pointers from him. And, I did sink one, like I think it was a 20 or 25-foot putt. Did the big fucking Tiger Woods, get the arm, pump it up, get hype. Definitely looking forward to getting into another expensive hobby. I'm going to start buying some newer clubs probably. I already got all the clothes with the Nike Dry Fits on deck. I just got to get a couple more shorts, and I already got a fat ass, like Happy Gilmore said. So I'm pretty good, pretty ahead of the curve, and I've been noticing lately I'm saying, a lot, just a concerted effort to try to cut that back a little bit. But when you're on here trying to talk, and sometimes you got some gaps in the rhythm, you just put these little fillers in, and that's one I've definitely gone to a little more than I'd like to. So let's cut it fucking out, Frankie. Are you fucking done with it? Yeah, we are. Okay, good. So yeah, I really have fun with golf, but here we go. There's one. But when you're playing something like that, something a little out of your comfort zone, here you are thinking that you're going to try to stray away from old habits or whatever the case may be. And I've always been a little frugal bitch. And here I am, playing golf, and a couple times I hit a few bad balls, and I'm like so hell-bent on not losing the ball, even though the trash bag set I was talking about that I picked, they had old balls and tees in there, and they're prehistoric times. Like the balls were white at one point from just sitting in that bag. They like an amber, a tannish, a little weird color. So I'm freaking out over that. Like when I'm hitting the balls up the tees, I'm picking up all the tees and bringing them with me. If they broke, I was like, oh my God, they're like these little piece of shit, cheap, old ass wooden tees. And if I saw other people's tees in the ground, I was picking them up and bringing them with me. Just an absolute piece of dirt. I'm playing a fancy man's game and looking like my damn cheap self. But so I'm looking forward, like I said, to getting into that, spending some money, and definitely playing golf with people that are good, people that aren't good. Just having like right away, I reached out to my brother, showing him I was playing, because I sent him a picture of a giant dragon that was on the course, a huge iguana. Thought about slitting his throat, and speaking of which, right now, a little current event news in Florida. 2 or 3 days ago, they just kicked off the Florida Python Challenge, where all those damn invasive species that we talked about, those Burmese pythons. And, a few weeks back, I had mentioned that they were just overrunning our state due to the dirty whites getting them and then releasing them into the wild. Well, I had been fact checked by my brother and saying, I think it was Hurricane Charlie, where I kind of hit some zoos and some refugees and whatnot, that some of these things got on the loose, and that's what we can attribute it to. So thank you for the animal fact checking, my boy. And so the Florida Python Challenge, there used to be like deer, raccoons, other marvelous creatures running throughout the Everglades. But now with the surge in these invasive species, they're everywhere. So the Floridians are bringing it upon themselves to go down and wipe them out. And it's a 10-day challenge. So I think it's going to be wrapping up on the 16th. So to all you dirty whites down there, give them hell. Give them hell and just go nuts, please. That should transition me right over to the dislikes. There's been not a lot of news out there swirling about. The hot topic right now is the Choco Taco by Klondike. And there's a lot of different things out, there's outrage, there's people, nobody even eats them anyway, and blah, blah, blah. And now the Klondike's coming out saying that, well, don't worry, we'll potentially bring them back on the ice cream trucks. And so obviously if they're going to discontinue something, stop selling it, there wasn't as much of a demand as there once was, or whatever the case. But I will say that I am one of these people that definitely did buy the 4 packs of Choco Tacos in the store. Most people that I was reading about were just complaining and saying no one actually supports them. They would just buy them from an ice cream truck or whatever. But I was actually someone who was supporting the brand and would buy them once in a while and contribute to the Klondike Fund. Growing up, my dad was a big fan of the Klondikes, the OG Klondikes, and they would have the Reese's or the different flavors. Never a huge fan. I always thought they were a little overrated. Just real quick, if you had to do like a power ranking for some of these frozen treats, obviously we're just going to exclude the ice creams, just whether it's the Publix Premium, the Turkey Hill, the Breyers. I know I'm missing a couple, but the Breyers Snickers is one of my all-time favorite cookie dough, But if we're talking like, let's go top 3 frozen treats, excluding ice cream out of the gallon or half gallon. Choco Taco is definitely going to come in at number 3 for me, I would say. Number 2, I'm going to go with any kind of, I think it's called like whole fruit or something. Any kind of frozen fruit popsicles, specifically coconut. When you get those little stringy flakes, God fucking damn it. That's going to come in at number 2. And the number 1 is just for me, and this is a real quick off the top of the head list. So I'm sure I'm going to listen back and be like, fuck. But give me those little Oreo ice cream. They're not cones, they're like the little sticks where it's got the wooden popsicle stick and then it's got the vanilla ice cream on the inside, but then it's got the Oreo crumble and like the chocolate coating on the outside. Oh my God. And now I'm thinking Snickers ice cream, Twix ice cream. Fuck. But let's seal it up with those 3. That's going to be my power rankings. So to go over, it's Choco Taco coming in number 3. Oh, and I just forgot Drumstick, which probably bought more than anything else. Number 2, we're going to say the whole fruit. Now, you know what? Number 2 is being scrubbed, whole fruit by. I ate enough fresh fruit on the daily. We're going to insert the, what did I just say? Oh, the Drumstick, any variation. We're not going to get picky right now. And the number 1 is the Oreo ice cream. So feeling pretty good about that list. So I'm really upset with Klondike about discontinuing the Choco Taco. And you know how it is when you get rid of something, now you start realizing how much you're going to miss it. And that little waffle cone style with the chocolate front, the chocolate back, the bow in the stern. You got the little, fuck, man, I can't believe they're doing it. So yeah, they're doing it. I'm definitely going to try to be able to incorporate a little bit more current events into the solo episodes. I just think it'll be funny little fodder for me to riff on and see what we can do. But I know, the next dislike, but it's like a like and a dislike combined. Thursday night, the past week was the first time I've ever did the ice plunge, if you will. After our no-gi classes at my jiu-jitsu gym on Thursdays, my sweet coach, who's investing his sweet little money into these ice baths and then providing us with the ice dumps and putting people in there. We do 3 minutes at a time. A couple people had gone before me, and I was kind of thinking, I'm gonna kill some time and let the ice melt, and maybe that'll, because there's not as many whole cubes anymore, it might make it a little easier for me. Yeah, that didn't work. I went in there and within 10 seconds, I'm already screaming. I'm literally, yeah, everyone else just sits in there. We they're calmly breathing, and I'm sitting there and just literally yelling, screaming, freaking out, dipping my head and I'm in my like toes up, down, like I'm threatening to get out. And so yeah, I just didn't like my reaction. This is such a good mental test, not only for recovery for your body and everything else, but just the mental aspect of getting into water that cold and seeing how long you can last and how well you can breathe and where your mind goes to if it's panicking. And I'll admit, the first time I ever did it, I was definitely panicking, freaking out. I couldn't stay calm. I couldn't really keep my breath together. I couldn't keep my composure. And, you had people around you and they were seriously a big help, kind of coaching, helping you through the process. And I'm trying so hard not to keep saying, it's such a bleeping battle. But yeah, when people would talk to you, you would kind of hammered in your brain, okay, just breathe, just breathe. A lot of people were saying to breathe in like through your kidneys and the livers, as opposed to like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was effective when I was doing it. It definitely seemed to be helping. So like I said, it was very uncomfortable, but I'm so glad I did it afterwards. I felt so cool. I was on like a crazy high, and you get out and your body immediately like gets hot. Like you're so cold that you're hot. And I remember living in New Jersey, some of like my least favorite things, especially now my blood's thinned out from living down here, Southwest Florida. I used to be that boy that middle of the wintertime, I'd have shorts and a t-shirt on. The fan would be cranking on high. I'd have the windows open, just welcoming the cold at all avenues. But now I get the chills. And like I was saying, the thing I hate is when you would get cold and you'd shiver a lot and the back of your spine is getting all stiff and achy because of how much you're shivering. And definitely experienced that sensation. So that was an awesome experience, and I can't wait to do it again. But it's just if you haven't tried it, man, I would definitely recommend giving that a whirl and seeing what that's like, because man, it was something, right? Um so yeah, that kind of closes up the likes and the dislikes, and just kind of want to get into something I read over the week that I thought was really humorous, if you will. um Cracker Barrel. Let's see if I can share the screen on here. Kind of experimenting as we go here, guys. So let's bear with me. We're sharing the screen, right? So we're gonna try to pull up. Yeah, and this is like this shitty ass laptop I have is always getting stuck with here. But yeah, so as you can see, Cracker Barrel has decided to explore other avenues in revenue, I believe, and just add a new menu item. I don't see. I'm a big devout meat eater, and I've tried a Impossible Burger, whatever. I thought they were pretty good. And the more you read and learn about it, the health detriments you read and see that they're actually worse for you than the meat. But Cracker Barrel's deciding to expand their menu and get into the Beyond Meat, and it's got some meat eaters into a real tizzy, which I find just absolutely hilarious. I copy and pasted a little quote into my phone, but this is a different article. I mean, I'm captivated. This is my second article reading it about it, and let's take a tidbit real quick if we don't mind, guys, from the article. So I'm going to read off here. Cracker Barrel learned the lesson the hard way after the restaurant chain faced massive backlash on social media over the decision to introduce vegan, in quotes, sausage to menus nationwide. The restaurant took to Facebook to post a photo of the breakfast dish with the Impossible sausage patties, a new offering from the company. Discover new meat frontiers, the post reads. Experience the out-of-this-world flavor of Impossible sausage made from plants next time you build your own breakfast. Now let's get to the meat backlash from the meat connoisseurs who are up in arms. They got over 11,000 comments and 6,600 reactions, and the overwhelming majority were negative. One user wrote, "Not in a billion years am I eating this. The only thing impossible will be how to recover from this mess," meaning like the PR mess of trying to add another. Like, they're not taking away meat, they're just adding. And don't, like, if you want to be vegan, great, go out. And if you want to, sometimes you're out to eat with your family, and if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, you're struggling to find options. They're just being a little more inclusive and helping people find. It's hilarious. Someone else writes, "Are you kidding me? Who do you think your customer base is? I still order the double meat breakfast. It's not even on the menu anymore. So this guy is really devoted to his double meat breakfast. And, they're really upset. And, I've made my feelings known about, and not a whole, but just the vegan community, the ones that want to act like they're better than you and shame you for eating meat. I think we can all agree to an extent that the factory farming is definitely a little wonky, and we would love to avoid it if possible, but not feasible for some of us. So one of the either vegans or vegan defenders or vegetarians wrote, "Hello, self-absorbed and selfish people. Some of us are vegetarians and vegans, and we appreciate alternatives when we eat out. Maybe order what you want, we order what we want, and hush already." And I'll agree, but these people are freaking out, acting like this is the restaurant's going woke and they're changing their menu. And one guy, you used to serve real things in all caps, real butter, real meat, real smiles, real good food. Now you want to add in fake sausage. Bye bye, old friend. When you get rid of the imitation sausage, I would like to come back. Until then, goodbye. So here's someone who's literally boycotting the menu because they're not taking anything off. They're literally adding on a imitated sausage in this. I mean, it's just hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. After reading a couple of those quotes that I just stumbled upon, I kind of have to refer back to my phone for the quote I had in there. This guy wrote in all caps. His name is Mark Veig. So shout out to Mark. You're a dedicated human being, my friend. In all caps, you can take my pork sausage when you pry it from my cold, dead hands. Don't tread on my pork. So, the imitation sausage just really struck a nerve for this gentleman. And yeah, it's just I thought that was really funny. I mean, if you're gonna get that upset over something like that, you people are gonna have their right to eat what they want, just like if we eat meat, we eat what we want. And if people want to criticize us, it is what it is, right? But if you're gonna go out to a restaurant and get their double patty sausage breakfast, and then the person across from you is getting a same thing, but it's imitated sausage, like what's the big fucking deal? So Mark, I hope you're out there. I hope you're listening, buddy. And shout out to you, man. You're really committed to the art of sticking to your pork and not letting people tread on your pork. And who am I to disrespect a man of integrity and of morals and principles, right? Speaking of integrity, when I had gotten interviewed for my job at Chick-fil-A in the past, the boss had asked me, "What does it mean to you if I say you have integrity?" And I went on this long spiel about something. And he's like, "Do you know what integrity means?" And I just looked at him. I was like, "Sure don't." He's like, "Well, that was a good answer anyway. No problem." So speaking of Chick-fil-A, I went and finally satisfied my craving. It's probably been about 4 weeks. It's pretty close to a personal record since I've been introduced to the chain of not getting it. And got the peach milkshake, got my mama one. Those things just age like fine wine, and I handle that no problem, even though I think I'm a little lactose intolerant. But I'm watching the UFC fights here tonight and had gotten a big thing of Rita's water ice, mango, like a quart or something, just because I figure if I'm craving it, I can take it out, have it, not have to worry about getting it and blah blah blah. So I'm eating it, have a little ramekin, dice up another one, and I guess that's like a new trigger for me now is just water ice, because boy, it reigns supreme. I had a really hard time dealing with that, and the ghost of the foods from the past day were resurfacing, and I had to watch like the co-main and main event just in literal hell. So yeah, that was fun. Peloton life's been good, I've been really working on that. Been trying to incorporate more things into the podcast here as far as like an intro and an outro. I'm just stumbling upon a couple hiccups as far as the audio and the video not meshing together. So I'm trying to work through that. Last I don't know, Friday I released that episode with Wordplay 187. Listen to it. I thought I did a much better job of not interrupting as much. So you know how it is. Sometimes you'll get just like when you're working a restaurant or anywhere, people are so quick to point out the negatives, but when you're doing positives, it's much less likely. I'm not saying that as like a bad thing for anyone. I'm just saying when I'm just gonna keep putting it out, keep having fun, and keep trying to get better each time. I just passed, on the sharing platform that I use, Anchor, the distributing platform, keeps your listeners and stuff up to date. So I just passed 1,000 listens, which is not much considering it's what, the 22nd episode, but I was super excited by that. I'm gonna be trying to smoke a steak later today for the first time, doing some garlic and herb cast iron fried potatoes and some lemon pepper broccoli. Just get it popping, get it cracking. Just had a brisk iced tea for the first time in probably 15 years. Speaking of that, let me just take a quick sip of the Lord's water. So the brisk iced tea brings back a funny memory. Back in my hooligan days, which may still be existing, but definitely not to the extent that they were at one point. I was terrorizing a swim club. Shout out to the Wexford Lee Swim Club. It was at some point family run. My mom was in charge at one point. My aunt came and ran the ship for a little bit. My dad was pulling some strings. So we were always pretty closely tied to the swim club. And I remember one year, me and a friend of mine who will remain nameless to protect his identity. But if you're listening, you know who you are. But I'll incriminate myself. It's okay. Growing up, soda was very soda, caffeinated drinks, anything that was out of a can really were very suppressed by my mother. Just as wasn't allowed to say, I've talked about being curse suppressed, not being able to say let alone fuck or shit, but idiot, shut up, fart, piss, these were considered really bad words of my mom. So we would find alternatives, but in the long run, it just made us want to say the words even more. And definitely got a little bit of a foul mouth on me these days, and I can attribute it to that. And luckily, the caffeinated beverages isn't quite the same story, but I just had a little feeding for adrenaline, I guess you could say. So, our swim clubs would cater to a lot of the kids with the sugar tooth, craving those cherry Pepsis, the Diet Cokes, the Mountain Dews, the Brisks, the root beers, whether it was mug or barks. What do you guys think, mug or barks? Anyway, the root beers, just the Sprites, the ginger ales, all these sodas. And to this day, the only one I really like, obviously Brisk is good, but it's not a soda, is Sprite. I'll drink a Sprite once every 4 or 5 months. I'm just not the carbonation, whatever the case may be. And, like I said, it could have been the reverse where my mom didn't let us have soda our whole life. So then I was obsessed with soda. Thank God that's not the case. Shout out to my boy, Bill Snow, former guest, still pounding Mountain Dews like they're going out of business. And hopefully they're not going to suffer the same fate as my beloved Choco Tacos. But anyway, getting back to the Brisk. Yeah, I remember my friend has just gotten his driver's license, and now I couldn't know. What was the story? How are we smuggling the goods? I've really gotta see. And instead of making up the story, this is a true story, but I can't remember one detail about it. But I guess that doesn't really matter. Oh no, duffel bag. That's what it was. Okay. So we had gotten our bicycles and went to the swim club. Let's call it a mid to late July hot afternoon, the dog day of summer, if you will. We're there, we're halfway through, the 4th of July is over, and that's kind of the official summer's here. And then it gets towards the end and you're getting ready to go back to school in a month. It's just the dog day, right? So we're in the mood for some hijinks, some drinks, some hijinks, and some fun. So we ride our bikes up to the swim club, and we check in, we got our duffel bags that, instead of having towels and little torpedoes or little games, and this brings up all the games like Greasy Goose and the fun games you would play at the swim club, where let's try to remember how this game went. You would play in the deep end of the pool, and I think there was one guy who was the Greasy Goose, and then everybody else on the opposite side were the slippery seals, if we will. And they would try to dive from one end to the other without getting tagged by the goose, and the seals would slither and the goose would get. And just an amazing, so many years of playing that. And Matty Dolan, shout out to my boy. He was always the supreme leader of the game, had the undefeated nostrils, could hold his breath, could swim fast, was strong, just could the gravitational pull he would generate was the swim club had never seen anything like it, let's be honest. But anyways, we keep getting sidetracked from the brisk and shit. My friend and I had, we went to the pool, we're chilling there for a little bit, and then we decided to do some shit, right? So we had the hill, which is like the top area of the pool, where the actual swimming pool was down there, and then you'd go up like a tiny little incline, literally like 5 feet. But in New Jersey, that's considered a hill. And there would be the volleyball nets, the sand back there, and then there'd be like the big house, where inside you'd have the pool table, the foosball, the refrigerators, the chest freezers with all the ice pops, the frozen treats, and this was just a spot my my damn younger self came infatuated with. Finding any little treats that I wasn't allowed to have, under the swim club's nose, I would take a little thing here, take a little thing there, maybe eat it under the pool table, sneak in a little ice cream or whatever. But this big house had an back entrance where there was a door that would lead to the back parking lot, which was our way out. We come in the front, we go out the back. So on this dog day of July, I think me and my friend managed to take about 4 to 6 12-packs of caffeinated beverages for our ransom. No, we didn't have anybody kidnapped. We didn't do anything like that. I don't know why I said ransom, but we just took the soda that we weren't allowed to take. And I think it was a Brisk, a cherry cola, a Sprite, a Pepsi, and one or two others. And I'm not a hunter-gatherer, but sometimes you get glimpses into feelings, and taking this and going back to my friend's house, and then letting our brothers and our friends know what our day find was. You're gonna tell me that a guy out there that's going out and taking down a deer or whatever and bringing it back to his family, the feeling is the feeling, baby, and I experienced it in that soda heist. So when I was drinking that Brisk, I literally cracked it open, started pouring it over ice, and I was like, damn, you remember when I used to fucking go into the swim club and have the little adventure? It was a one-time thing, but definitely made my mark and had a good story about it. Just trying to think over what else was going on. I watched the F-Boy Island last 2 episodes. Spoiler alerts in 3, 2, 1. If you haven't caught up on the show, not missing a ton. Definitely overhyped it. Season 2 was a little bit of a letdown, but just to close it out, we had a little stray away from the norm, a little glitch in the matrix, if you will. Something's never happened before. We had a girl acting out as coming out as an F girl, and she was faced with the option of choose 2 guys or take the money for herself, and she chose the latter. So how about that? She got her money, she rolled out, she chose herself. The other 2 girls chose some men. They seem happy. I watched that Woodstock 99 documentary. If you guys haven't watched that yet, definitely check that shit out. It was on Netflix, and my sister Jenny told me she backed out at the last minute from getting a ticket, and I'm so glad she did, because just knowing how she was when she was younger, she probably would have been fucking kicking down the plywood, burning it, going absolutely crazy with her crazy 80s and 90s hairstyle. So just insane to see, and to watch the promoter and the organizers like take no accountability of anything that happened and kind of blame it all on the kids. But after the first day and you see what happened to the property there and how they're price gouging, what do you expect these young kids to do? They're young, they're angry, they got music like Limp Bizkit and Korn and the Red Hot Chili Peppers to fire them up. And that's what I was talking to my sister about. Just the concert was a shit show and it wasn't a huge success, and the whole event was kind of a nightmare. But the music, man, it was not in 1999, but just think of the music back then and going into the 2000s. And that's what's so fun about this Peloton is all these different classes that you can take, all of different soundtracks, and you'll get like 90s hip hop, 90s R&B, 90s pop, 2000s. And just hearing the music brings you back to crazy memories of going to concerts. I remember the first time I ever went to a concert, I was like, just a straight edge fucking dorky loser who didn't smoke, didn't drink, and I was trying so hard to like get into do something just so I like could go to the concert, and I looked like a total dork. So I remember I was like talking to one kid at school about like where can I get weed and blah blah blah. And I remember he like gave me like a nug of weed and I was just like carrying it around like all week, just like so scared. Like what do I do with I don't know how to do this. Like do I plan it? What do I do? So the concert comes around, I don't bring it, I don't try to smoke it or anything like that. I remember like the night before, two friends came over to my house for pizza, and one of them had brought weed over, and we were like trying to get into it, trying to smoke it. And I remember he just like smelled so bad. We were spraying it with Axe, and my parents wouldn't smell. And just man, to be young again, it's crazy to think that's being all legal now. But all the amazing stories I have from the childhood, dancing around these little demons of ours, trying to figure out what we like. But yeah, I went to like XTU, I think it was like a country radio station was holding a concert, and I literally couldn't tell you one act that was in there. It was just me and a bunch of my young high school friends getting rowdy, getting wild, and yeah, I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, and it's funny talking about like trying to fit in with the drinking. Right when I went to high school, my first year in high school, I was on the freshman football team, and I met so many kids right away that I was just like, damn, I want to be friends with them. And we would have I'd always want like sleepovers, and I would always have the house to do them just because I'd have good room. I always had cool parents that would like cook breakfast for us in the morning and whatever. So I remember like the first time I think it was like five of my friends over for a sleepover. So it was me and my brother and then them five. Like my dad always had a little kegerator, where he would keep his beer at. And I hated beer, never drank beer. Still to this day, don't like the taste of beer. But these young high school kids coming over, the testosterone ridden, they want to do some shit. So they're, asking about my dad's beer. They started trying to drink it, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna find out. Like, what are you guys doing? Stop. And then like they're trying to get me to drink some. So I have like a small sip, and I just don't like it. And the story goes like we end up walking to Dunkin' Donuts that night, sneaking out of my house because some of these guys like had fireworks that from my house, and we were going and putting them into people's mailboxes. And I was just like, so like, it's my house, my fireworks going around my neighborhood, but I didn't want to speak up because I was like, I just want to be friends. And yeah, it was crazy. It definitely showed me a little bit of that west side drama. I was always on the east side, and then here's some of my west side boys coming over for the first time, ingratiating themselves. And maybe it was a little bit of a turf war thing. They're coming over to the east side. They want to mark their territory, piss on the mailboxes, get the fireworks off, go to Dunkin' Donuts on my side, shit there, leave their scent inside my Dunkin'. So, a little bit of that west side scent's lingering there. So it's not fully east anymore. It's got a little bit of that lingering odor. Who knows, right? Um, yeah, the Phillies are kicking ass right now. They're 11 games over 500. Fucking had I think a 6-run first inning on Saturday and playing Sunday. I don't know. It's awesome. I'm getting ready to go cook a phenomenal meal, steak, potatoes, and broccoli, just American as shit. My potatoes at the end, I've been loving getting them real crunchy and crispy. And then at the end, starting to melt a little cheddar cheese on them and get that luxurious feeling that we just love. And I've had my steak marinating for a little bit now. Just got that buttery steakhouse rub on there. And then we're just gonna do some shit. I'm probably going. Bought a bunch of fresh fruit this morning. I don't know about you guys. Like beginning of the work week, I'm always going out on Sundays and just getting some lunch meat, some cheese, some lettuce, whether it be wraps, whether it be sandwich buns, rolls, just to be able to bring your own lunch, save so much money, save so much time. Like me, I'm on the road, but even people who are on the road, I feel like instead of buying lunch every week, just start making lunch meat sandwiches. I do the blazing hot buffalo chicken by Boar's Head. I had the Frank's Red Hot. I got the red onions on mine, the lettuce, a little bit of mayo, cheese. It's phenomenal. I'm eating this. I'm like, damn, you spend 15, $20 at the beginning of the week, get 4 or 5 days of food out of you during the day. You get the fresh fruit, the dehydrated mangoes. I mean, some people make fun of me for bringing a lunchbox to work, but when you see what I got pinned inside that motherfucker, like, holy fucking! I always tell people I'm that guy when you go on the snowboarding mountain or you go to the beach. I'll be the guy that's got the pack shit. So if you need something, I might not want to share it with you, but I'll have it. And If you're desperate, I got you. Whether it be the sunblock, the chapstick, the Neosporin, the contact solution, the Band-Aids. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been in a situation where people are like, do you, anyone have the gum, the mints? And I got it and they're amazing. It's just a good feeling, you know? I really am a hunter gatherer the more I think about it. I'm constantly providing for my lost tribe. I think that'll do it for another episode of Verbal Garbage. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Hope you have fun and look forward to the next one. Peace.